Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing what is this malinformation of which you speak. I thought of making this video, I actually thought of making this video a while back when I first saw, a few days ago, when I first saw the sort of congressional hearing on censorship involving RFK Jr., in which RFK Jr., they attempted to censor him from that platform on live television, which I found to be irony of the highest level. I mean, it was funny to watch, quite frankly, in certain ways, as funny as it was horrific, because in the U.S. context, free speech is such a major issue. That being said, he brought up something I thought was really interesting, which was, they were saying that he used a lot of misinformation and things, and he sort of immediately fired back and said, no, I haven't. I've cited everything that I've said. I've tried to be assiduous in that way. And believe me, I can totally understand that, because I try to do the same thing in my day-to-day, especially out in the ether of the internet, if you will. But so I started digging into this notion of malinformation, and I'm paraphrasing here, I believe he said, I'll go ahead and I'll put a link up to Jimmy Dore's channel, because I originally watched it on Forbes or something, and then I kind of circled back to it on Jimmy Dore's channel. And Jimmy does a really good job of sort of breaking down a lot of what's going on in that overall back and forth. But when they got to the issue of misinformation, disinformation, I think the layman's word for that is lying. You know what you're saying is not correct, and you're saying it anyway. Misinformation could be innocuous in the sense that somebody may not know that they are giving out erroneous data. They're espousing data points that they may believe may be correct, but are not in fact correct. Again, you know, in my mind, the cure for bad information is more information, because the good information will eventually come out. But whatever, we'll leave that alone. But then he got into the notion of malinformation, and RFK specifically pointed this out, saying this was a word they created, I think, to paraphrase him correctly, to deal with him. And I think when he said him, it was sort of him and his ilk, if you will, people that have the data behind them, but the government just doesn't like it. And I think, again, I think I'm paraphrasing this. Check the link. You know, I'm happy to stand corrected, but I'm close to it where I say, paraphrasing RFK, he said that I had the data and they just didn't like it. That was the issue. So I kind of went through and started researching the term malinformation. Now, you got to remember, in the U.S. context, the government can't put up a bunch of stuff about this malinformation, because again, we have the First Amendment, as noted in a prior injunction from the federal courts, where the federal courts have now told the U.S. government, hey, you need to not be having these powwows with the social media folks talking about, you know, basically censorship. And that was basically what this recent federal injunction was about. Now, how that plays out remains to be seen. But it's interesting stuff. And again, circling back to malinformation, I went ahead and went over to the Canadian Center for Cybersecurity, because they don't have the same rules up there as we do in the United States, specifically something called the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. And I found this on the website www.cyber.gc.ca. So again, it's the Canadian Center for Cybersecurity. Title of this is How to Identify Misinformation, Disinformation, and Malinformation. And then under the heading of malinformation, they give the definition. Malinformation refers to information that stems from the truth, but is often exaggerated in a way that misleads and causes potential harm. Boy, wow, if we are going to get into whether or not what stems from truth, A, what is exaggerated, B, and then the definition of misleads or causes potential harm, those are real problems in terms of trying to figure out from a free speech standpoint what exactly those things are. Again, I'm going to put this back up on screen. So again, I'm rereading this. Malinformation refers to information that stems from the truth. Well, what's that? It's either true or not. How does something stem from the truth? Okay? Then often exaggerated. What does that mean? And who decides what exaggeration is? Who gets to make that determination? And how is that determination not in some way arbitrary and or capricious? And then in a way, that's another one that's just a soft, in a way. What is an in a way? What's a way? Okay, that misleads. Okay, who determines what's misleading? If the underlying information stems from the truth and causes potential harm. What's potential harm? What is that? There's harm or there's not. It's like being sort of pregnant. It's one or the other. Again, I have a hard time disputing Mr. Kennedy's assertion that malinformation is just true stuff that you don't like. It's very hard to dispute that assertion on the part of Mr. Kennedy. I just don't see where you come up with that. So again, misinformation and disinformation, I don't like those terms much either. But at least they have some substance. They have something you can hold on to. Again, disinformation, somebody's intentionally putting out erroneous information. Misinformation, you may not be fully informed, you may just be wrong about something. Again, I don't think that's called for censorship at all. Again, I don't see why that would seem relevant. But in terms of malinformation, I just think, come on. At the end of the day, just because you don't like it, if it's true, you got to go ahead and deal with it.